Good morning, folks, and very happy Friday to you. I hope and pray you're doing well this morning, and I hope and pray that you are looking forward to God's blessings throughout this day, and indeed to blessing God, because Christian, that's what we're about. We're about bringing God glory through everything that we do. I want to remind you to keep the family of Pastor Tony Lundy in your prayers, and they will be releasing arrangements for him probably later on today, and we'll definitely keep you updated on that in case you know Pastor Tony and want to go and pay your respects and things of that nature. But continue to keep them lifted up in your prayers, and we all know the prayer concerns on all of our hearts, so be sure to lift up to God all those folks that need that special touch from Him, and especially lift up the concerns that may be on your heart today, that God will minister to each and every one. The good news is He will minister to each and every one. I was reading in my devotional this morning, and the text verse was Ecclesiastes chapter number 6 and verse number 12. And I have to admit, I'm sure that I've seen this verse before, but I've not really paid it very much attention. But the story that the author of my devotional gave from this text, it was very, very poignant. Now, I'm not going to tell that story, but I'm going to read the verse for us and make a little bit of application there. Ecclesiastes chapter number 6 and verse number 12. For who knows what is good for man in life? All the days of his vain life, which he passes like a shadow. Who can tell a man what will happen after him under the sun? Let me ask you a question, Christian. Have we, I say we because we're all in that boat, but have we ever been so rash in something that we wanted, and then when we got it, we realized it wasn't really all that great for us to have? Have we ever rushed into a decision and we think maybe that God has called us to that decision, but then when we get into that, we learn that it was most likely not what God had in mind for us? I say most likely sort of tongue-in-cheek. It definitely was not what God had in store for us. How often have we jumped into something without giving it prayer, without giving it proper discernment? Think about that. And as you think about that, if we look at it in the light of Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and verse number 12, may we always see those things that look appealing to us, but really might not be that appealing to us. And may we give it proper prayer, give it proper discernment, and allow God's wisdom to take hold. If I might put that in more simpler terms, have you ever jumped into something and then you realized it wasn't the best thing in the world to jump into, but God taught you that real quick once you jumped into it? That's exactly what we're talking about right there. Let's always be challenged, Christian, to give proper discernment, proper study, proper prayer before we enter into something that we think is either what God is calling us to do or what we think would be best for us. Remember, God knows what's best for us. We don't always know what's best for us. So let's give that proper discernment. It reminds me of one of the hospice providers that I work among. His name is Dr. Bivens. Wonderful man and a wonderful person of God. And he was relating the other day that he feels called to something for God's glory, but he doesn't know exactly what it is. And he made mention that he's going to spend a great deal of time in prayer and a great deal of time in study to allow God to give him that discernment that he needs. And that, of course, is my prayer for him as well, that God will provide that wisdom that he needs, that discernment that he needs, and make the way clear to where he'd have him to go. Folks, isn't that exactly what we need to be doing? instead of just rushing into something thinking that it'll be good for us and then it turns out that it's not so good for us. How about let's be challenged to give it prayer, give it discernment, and allow God to lead the way. And I hope and pray that this challenges you today. Hope and pray you have a wonderful day today. And I hope and pray that you will join us on Sunday for worship, and then stay with us after worship for that time of fellowship around the table. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time. As far as the calendar is concerned, we're in spring right now. The weather this morning may not feel like it, but we are in spring right now, and it's our spring fellowship. So come and be prepared to praise God. Come and be prepared to worship God. And then come and be prepared to join with each other in fellowship around the table. Wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Don't miss that blessing. Come and be with us. Our service starts at 11 o'clock on Sunday. Sunday school's at 9:45. You're more than welcome as well. But come and be with us this Sunday and be ready to experience God's blessings. Be ready to be challenged by God, and be ready to come and fellowship. Love you folks, and I'll talk to you a little bit later. God bless you.